I'm 78 years old, and I haven't cleaned my house in 4 months. Not just skipped the deep cleaning or let things get a little dusty. I mean, I haven't cleaned at all. The bathroom hasn't been scrubbed. The floors haven't been mopped. The kitchen counters are sticky with spills I wipe around but never actually clean. And yesterday, standing in my filthy bathroom looking at the ring around the toilet I've been ignoring for weeks, I had this moment of absolute clarity. I thought, I've given up. Not consciously, not as a decision. But somewhere along the way, I stopped being able to take care of my own home. And I didn't tell anyone because admitting it felt like admitting I couldn't live here anymore. It started gradually, the way these things always do. Maybe 6 or 7 months ago, I noticed that cleaning left me more exhausted than it used to. I'd vacuum one room and need to sit down and rest. I'd scrub the tub and my back would ache for hours. So I started spacing things out more. Instead of cleaning the whole house in one day, I'd do one room, then one task, then nothing for weeks at a time because I never felt recovered enough to start again. At first, I told myself I was being smart, pacing myself, not overdoing it. But really, I was avoiding it. Because cleaning requires bending and reaching and scrubbing and standing. And all of those things had become painful, difficult, sometimes impossible. My knees hurt when I knelt to clean the tub. My shoulders screamed when I tried to wipe down high shelves. My back gave out when I mopped the floor. Every cleaning task had become a physical ordeal I dreaded. I live alone. I've lived alone for 12 years, since my husband passed, and living alone after 70 means there's no one else to pick up the slack when you can't manage. No one to clean the bathroom when you're too sore. No one to mop the floors when bending over hurts too much. No one to notice that your house is slowly becoming filthy because you physically can't maintain it anymore. Have you let this happen to watch your home get dirtier and dirtier because cleaning it is beyond what your body can do now? The bathroom got bad first. I'd avoid looking at it, avoid thinking about it. I'd use it quickly, eyes averted, trying not to see the soap scum building up, or the toilet that needed scrubbing, or the floor that was grimy. I kept meaning to clean it, kept telling myself tomorrow, next week, when I felt better, but I never felt better. I only felt older and more tired and less capable. The kitchen was almost worse because I used it every day. I'd wipe the counters but not really clean them. I'd wash dishes but never scrub the sink. The stovetop got covered in spills and splatters I couldn't bend down to clean properly. The floor became sticky. And I'd shuffle around in this increasingly dirty kitchen, making myself simple meals, trying not to think about how far I'd let things go. When was the last time your home felt clean? When was the last time you looked around and felt pride instead of shame? I started closing doors. The guest room I never used got too dusty to look at, so I shut the door. The bathroom I avoided using became the bathroom I avoided seeing. Even my own bedroom, I'd keep the door closed during the day so I didn't have to see the unmade bed, the clothes on the floor, the dust collecting on every surface. My world shrank to just the living room and kitchen, and even those were getting beyond my ability to ignore. My daughter came to visit and I panicked. Spent 3 days before she arrived trying to make the place presentable. And all I managed was to push the worst dirt into corners and hide the obvious filth. I was so exhausted by the time she got there that I could barely stay awake. She looked round my house and I could see her trying to hide her reaction, trying not to let me see the concern on her face. But I saw it anyway. She offered to help clean and I got defensive. Told her it wasn't that bad. Told her I'd been busy. Told her I'd get to it. All lies. I hadn't been busy. I'd been sitting in my chair, staring at my dirty house, unable to summon the physical capability to do anything about it. unable to admit that elderly living alone had become elderly living in filth because I couldn't manage basic housekeeping anymore. Do you make excuses to keep people away because you don't want them to see how you're really living? The smell started bothering me. Not terrible, not garbage or anything rotting. Just the stale smell of a house that hasn't been properly cleaned in months. The smell of old dust and dirty surfaces and bathrooms that need scrubbing. I'd open windows to air things out, but that didn't fix the underlying problem. The problem was that my house needed cleaning and I couldn't do it. I thought about hiring someone, a cleaning service, someone to come in and do what I couldn't. But that felt like such an admission of defeat. Like announcing to the world that I couldn't take care of my own home. That I'd become one of those elderly people who needed help with everything. That losing independence looked like this. Like paying someone to clean up after you because you're too old and broken to do it yourself. So I didn't hire anyone. I just kept living in the growing mess, feeling more ashamed every day, feeling more trapped. Because the house kept getting dirtier and I kept getting more tired, and the gap between what needed doing and what I could do kept getting wider. And I knew, somewhere deep down, that this couldn't continue. That something had to change. But I didn't know how to make that change without admitting what it meant. 3 weeks ago I slipped in my bathroom, on the floor I hadn't mopped in months. My foot went out from under me on the grimy tile and I barely caught myself on the sink. If I'd fallen, if I'd hit my head on that dirty toilet or that dirty tub, I could have been seriously hurt. And lying there, injured in my filthy bathroom, alone, waiting for help, the shame would have been almost worse than the injury. That near fall shook me badly. Made me realize that this wasn't just about pride or embarrassment anymore. This was dangerous. Living in a dirty house meant slippery floors and cluttered spaces and increased risk of accidents. It meant living in conditions that weren't sanitary or safe. It meant that aging and independence had turned into aging and endangerment. I called my son that evening, told him I needed help, that I couldn't keep my house clean anymore, that I'd been living in increasingly bad conditions for months because I was too ashamed to ask for help. And he didn't judge me. He didn't make me feel worse than I already felt. He just said, "Mum, we'll fix this. We'll get you the help you need." He came over the next day with his wife, and they spent hours cleaning. Really cleaning. The bathroom, the kitchen, the floors, everything I'd let go. And while they worked, we talked about solutions. About hiring a regular cleaning service. About accepting that I needed help with this. About understanding that asking for help wasn't the same as giving up. We found a service that comes twice a month now. They clean what I can't, they maintain what I can't maintain. And yes, it costs money. Yes, it means admitting I can't do everything myself. But it also means living in a clean home again. It means not being ashamed when people visit. It means not slipping on dirty floors. It means maintaining my dignity even as my capabilities change. It's been 3 weeks. My house is clean. I can have people over without panic. I can use my bathroom without averting my eyes. And I'm learning that living alone after 70 doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means building the support system that lets you keep living in your home safely and with dignity. It means accepting that some things are beyond you now, and that's okay. That's just aging. And adapting to aging isn't defeat. It's survival. If you've stopped cleaning your house because you physically can't anymore, if you're living in increasing filth because the tasks are beyond you, if you're ashamed of your home and hiding it from everyone, please hear what I'm saying. This is serious. This is about safety and sanitation and dignity. This is about recognizing when you need help and getting it before you're living in genuinely dangerous conditions. There's still time to make changes. There's still time to hire help, to set up services, to create a clean, safe environment, even if you can't create it yourself anymore. But there's not unlimited time, and waiting until your home is truly unlivable, until someone reports you or you hurt yourself in the mess, that's when other people make all your decisions. That's when you really lose your independence. So please, look around your home honestly. When did you last really clean it? What have you been avoiding or ignoring? How bad have you let things get because you couldn't admit you needed help? Because that admission, that asking for help, it's not the end. It's actually what lets you stay in your home. What lets you keep your independence in the ways that truly matter. If this resonated with you, if you're living with this same shame and fear, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who might be struggling silently with a house they can't maintain. Leave a comment telling me what you're dealing with, because you're not alone. Hit the like button if you found this honest and real. We need to stop suffering in silence about these things. Real independence is building the support that lets you live safely and with dignity. And that's something I'm learning every day in my clean home.